Hello and welcome to the Knock On KCLR and Scoreline.ie's weekly rugby podcast. I'm in a different office today. Sometimes Tom does be in the dark in the rugby club. Sometimes James does be somewhere else. Johnny, you could be anywhere every week, but you just join us from wherever he is, the van or wherever. Lads, how is it going?
All good, Steve. All
Yeah,
good.
happy out, Stephen. Now Friday evening. What more do we want?
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to Johnny be joining us on the podcast as soon as he can get on. But big weekend last weekend. James, happy?
We could only be happy. Yeah, I'm delighted actually. Didn't know what to expect coming down, but coming into the game. But yeah, delighted. Great win. And now we have the toughest game in the whole competition to try and stay in it. So I know what do we do from there? Only go down there and give it our best, our best account of ourselves down there in what is it, 2.5, 3 weeks time?
Mm-hmm.
It was like for us, we went into the game missing a good number of players. Went into the game, we were missing, believe it or not, we were missing Joe Manuel, Podge Mahan, Roy Stanley, Liam Phelan, Joe Moynihan. We're missing a fair chunk of lads, but at the 12th hour, Joe Manuel became available. Won't go into the details around why, but he was meant to go travelling. Something happened with his flights back to New Zealand. So, in fairness to him, he got in the car and drove straight back to Kilkenny to play the match and had a great game.
Fair play.
First half, we started really well. We dominated the game from start to finish. But in the first half, we struggled to get scores. Like, it was probably the most entertaining half of rugby that you'll see a Kilkenny team play. We were throwing the ball left to right, hitting the wings. It was incredible to watch, but there was no cohesion in it, and it was easy for Ashbourne to defend because we were failing to straighten lines at times, or they were just moving across. And I'm thinking 4 occasions in the first half we were moving the ball so well and so quickly that we actually passed the ball into touch 3, 4 times in the first half. Um, 2 new players were introduced. 9 new players were making their Towns Cup debut, which is an incredible stat considering we won the thing last year. But have 9 debutants is unbelievable. New tight head prop is in for the cup, a guy called Joe Halpin. We tried to register Joe for the league, but unfortunately we just missed it was after the deadline. And then a local chap here who has been ex-Kilkenny College pupil called Jake Colbeck, who has been away playing with Old Wesley for the last couple of years. He's an ex-Leinster under-20, so he was in the second row packing down beside Dame O'Leary, and both had an impact on the game. Both played really well. But the second half, I heard at halftime, Doc gave the lads a right dressing down at halftime, and a few home truths were put out there that we were trying to play too flashy. We were trying to do the flashy stuff without doing the hard stuff. So they knuckled down the game plan in the second half. Jake McDonald got the first score of the second half. Really good try. Wes Carter showed really good hands. Wes kind of took the ball into contact, broke a tackle, popped back inside. Just a slight little flick off the ball off the fingers and put Jake through. Jake had a little bit of work to do to get over the line, but he did it in under the post. And in fairness to Ashbourne, they tried their best to get back into the game, but our lads' tails were up at that stage. And Brian Howe got a try from a driving maul. Rory McInerney kicked a brilliant 50-22. Gave us a 5 metre line out. The Wes Carter won it. The maul came, set the maul. We won a penalty advantage off that driving maul because Ashbourne infringed. Took the ball down, drove on, and lo and behold, over the line for the score. Following score was much the same. It was off a driving maul again, and again we won a penalty advantage. This time we went through the hands, and Johan Lewis went in, and Hugh Corkery nailed that conversion. So it ended up 29 points to 6. Good thing is kind of no tries were conceded. Defence was fairly strong. But look at what we have to do now in the next round is we have to go and probably play who are the top provincial side in Leinster at the moment. They're scoring second in the league. All the pressure's on us going down there. It's going to be one hell of a day for us to try and go down there and hope to get a result. But look at fingers crossed we can. But look, we can only take one game at a time. We have probably the biggest game of our season at home this Saturday against Boyne. We need to win it, and Boyne need to win it both for the same reasons. A win for us will put us safe. A win for them will put them a point ahead of us going into the last round of games. Because all we can do is have to wait and see. But we're going to be minus a couple of players. Roy Stanley, I'd say, is definitely out. Joe Manuel is out because he's in New Zealand. Hodgman, last I heard, was touch and go. Liam Phelan, I'm not sure about. So look, it's going to be an interesting day in Fookstown tomorrow. Fingers crossed we can get the result that we need and go into the last game of the season just with a little bit of breathing space, a little bit of comfort that we don't need to get to go up to play Sea Point and to get a result. Because they're on a rich run of form as well. And in fairness to Sea Point, they've done incredible work to steer themselves out of relegation up to where they're probably bordering contention at the moment for All Ireland Junior Cup. So, but from our perspective, like if we win on Saturday, which look, I think I hope we will. Never predict the future, but if we do win on Saturday, we go into the last game of the season to play Sea Point, trying to get fifth place. So anything can happen. But the beginning of the season, we set out an objective to try and get All Ireland Junior Cup. It's probably fair to say we're going to miss out on that objective, but in the long run of it, if we win on Saturday as well, it's progress on last year that we have a better finish to the season. We're not going into playoffs or anything like that. So look at, I know my heart and soul the lads are going to go out there tomorrow and absolutely give it their all, and we'll all be rooting from them from the sideline. The Division 2A winning team from 10 years ago, we have a reunion tomorrow in the club, so I think there's 25 or 30 players off that team squad coming to Fookstown tomorrow for a few jars as well and a bit of grub. So there's a pre-match lunch in Fookstown tomorrow. It's €30 per head, and if anyone wants to take a place or take a table, give Dave Matthews or Mick O'Donovan a buzz.
Excellent stuff. Good stuff and good luck the weekend, James, at that
Absolutely.
as well. Your women, talking about the Towns Cup, I know it's a big task ahead of you, but like it's Cup Rugby, anything can happen.
Anything can happen,
Look what you did last year with the league, the way it went for you,
Yeah.
Heads up and all that jazz. The women and youths, James, and
the women have been kind of finding it a little bit difficult recently. They're suffering because they're missing their speedsters. And they're missing Lucy Hart and Emma Kelly, and they were their go-to, like they were their try scorers. They were the wheels in the team. So they drew on Sunday 10-all. After their last game of the season, I think they're still a point or two clear at the top of the league over Byrne Hall. So going into the last game of the season this weekend, away to Garda, they have to win. And they absolutely have to win. And I think, again, like the guys, like the lads, we're all rooting for them. They've had a really good season up to a couple of weeks ago where they just started losing games. And Paddy, in fairness to him, like he's playing with kind of a diminished squad at the moment. At the beginning of the season, he had untold amount of numbers, but for whatever reasons, through injuries and people having to step aside, that he is light on numbers. But you'd hope they can go up to Garda now the weekend to get the result and bring the league title home. Youth rugby had a mixed bag of the weekend, and up to Wednesday night, the under-18s lost the league semi-final on Wednesday night away to Gorey. But it's a young under-18s team, like all bar, I think 2 or 3 of them are underage again next year. So they'll be hoping to get to build on this year's progress. I think what Gary Doyle has done with the under-18s is a lot of progress in itself. Simply because he started at the beginning of the season with low numbers, and he started to get his numbers back, and to get into a league semi-final is a great return for Gary, so fair play to him for that. They're showing a lot of progress. What else was happening in youth rugby? The under-14s beat Navan in Fookstown, so that was a good win for the under-14s. The under-16s had a 26-21 win in the quarter-final of the Cup against Boyne at home as well. The under-18 girls came up short against RD Dundalk. They lost 22 points to 10. We took it down on my phone here to get all of the results now. What else was going on? The under 13 boys, they lost to Wexford 14 points to 19. The under 16 girls were beaten in Dundalk. The under 16 girls seem to be the team that had the best crack in the whole club, though. They just seem to be a really united bunch of girls, and regardless of how bad or how good things are going, they just always seem to. They never seem to step away. They always seem just to give it everything. And yeah, as I said, the under 18 boys were unfortunate to go down to Gorey on Wednesday night. Not an easy place to go on a Wednesday night to play an under 18 cup semi-final or league semi-final. I think fulfilling the fixture alone on a Wednesday night with kids in school takes a lot of commitment. I question why that was being played midweek as well. But anyway, look, that's not here nor there. It has to be played. But look, we'll be hoping for big things for players to come from that under 18 team.
Absolutely. Great update, James. Good stuff.
And I think you might have touched on it last week. The Southeast under 16 or 18 girls winning their cup. We just want to, from the club, we want to say well done to Rachel Brickell, who couldn't be involved because she broke her wrist. But look, she was there in some way, shape, or form. So just well done to Rachel and her teammates on that.
It's a great achievement. Great stuff. Tom Crotty.
Yeah.
What's the story? How are you happy after last week? That was a 9 tries.
Yeah, great game. Well, New Ross came up with intent, and in fairness, they gave us a good rattle at the start. We got off to a good start. It was kind of a misclearance from New Ross and went to Ben Crotty, and he kind of jinked his way up along the line. Then made a couple of hit ups, and Callum Murphy went over in the corner. Then that was kind of in the first couple of minutes, and then I think on the 8th minute, Quinlan got the ball in the centre and did his normal thing and barged his way through and got a score underneath the post. Sean had a great game in the centre. We started using him more because he's really good at that. At taking on the ball and getting an offload, and he had an absolute cracking game in the centre. Then we turned around and we had a bit of a brain fart for a couple of minutes, and we gave away 5 penalties in a row and gave away 13 points. So it then became New Ross 13, Carlow 12. So it was got a bit shaky there, but look, the lads, we managed to get on the pitch and give them a bit of water and a couple of choice words, and things got back up, and we got another score then just before half time. Callum Murphy I think got over in the corner again. But like we turned then the second half, we had a good second half. We were under a bit of pressure in the scrums again because we were down the front, as you all know, we're down a few front rows. But young young prop came up from our under 18s. Literally turned 18 on Friday. Ty Gronin. Ty came in as tight head, and he was actually up against Puddin from Kilkenny that played with Kilkenny last year, who will be a serious decent prop. And Puddin gave him a few rattles there early on, but then Ty settled into it, and the scrum steadied up, and things kind of improved. So we got in tries then. Evan Gordon got over the best one. The Wedge Shirley took a mad run about 30 metres and threw a pass across to Evan Gordon. I don't know how long the pass was, but it probably seemed about half length of the pitch, and stuck our hooker Evan Gordon over in the corner. Next one then we got was just an unbelievable try. Ben got the ball I went through the hands of Conor Tracy, Jeff McDermott, and Paddy Mackey, and Dan Crotty went in, got his try. Next one was a quick tap penalty. Jeff McDermott scored. Sean Quinlan got another try. Cayman Brennan got another try after that. Finished off then. I think Dan got another try at the very end. Look, what the score didn't really justify the way, like, Nuras were out on the feet kind of at the end of the game, but they gave us a really good game. And look, they're a good side, and I have to compliment them. They're a sound bunch of guys, and came in after us. Came in inside, and
they're a great bunch of lads.
Yeah, they're a great. Look, Nuras are a seriously good club. Their incoming president was up. Stoney Burke couldn't make it up, this year's president, but their incoming president came up for the pre-match dinner, and they all said like it was great fun and really enjoyed it. And look, it is what it is. We're through now to the next round. We've Tullamore away, which will be another day. Look, it's another day of quarter final. One match at a time. Our key match now is to play Kildare at the weekend. We've Kildare at home, and look, it's a huge game for us. Absolute huge game for us, because if you win, it sort of takes all the pressure off. If we lose, we're still there. Could be in a relegation playoff. And it's as simple as that. Our league has just been absolutely ridiculously close, with all the teams going up and down in points and wins and losses, and our dip in form and loss of players really took us toll. And the couple of home losses, did us no favours. And losing away to Dundalk, which we spoke about last week, when it was just really tough to go up there 2 weeks in a row and try and get the second win, and you can't sacrifice one for the other because they're both important. And I think, look, we know where Kildare are a seriously strong pack. We respect them an awful lot. We lost them up in Kildare, a fierce hard place to go. Anyone that's going to Kildare this year found it. I think they found this year they got their coaching right. Their coach came in, and a new coach came in, and they've seen they're playing to their strengths. They play up front, and they give any team a run for the money. So we're looking forward to Sunday. It's another home game. It's the last home league game of the season. So we hope to have a bit of a crowd, and a few guys kind of coming home. Maybe back for the weekend. Unsure. We'll know more. I can't say anything. We'll know more on Friday night. But we've a good. They played a lovely brand of rugby on. I have to say, some of the rugby on Sunday was really, really good. The backs play was absolutely outstanding. And we need to play that. We need to move the ball, and take every opportunity as it comes. And I think the lads are starting to understand now that it's not all about systems anymore. It's about playing rugby and figuring out how to break down a team yourself. And if it means crashing the ball up the middle, or going back to basics, taking route one, or throwing the ball wide, whatever it takes, you have to figure it out. The system is theirs, and lads know where to stand, and all that. That's done and dusted. But to try and get out of, sometimes you become too involved in systems and the way we play, and we forget about actually playing rugby.
Sometimes teams can be overcoached.
Yeah, you kind of.
And I don't mean that badly to anyone, but just sometimes you can be.
And I have to say, our skill levels over the last skill levels across everywhere. We just talking this with somebody just the other day. Our skill levels in players all across the board in the last, and their knowledge of the game, and the different facets of the new way of playing, and how the game has changed, has increased twofold. It's really from lads on the seconds, lads, even guys who are coming up trying to get onto the seconds, and seconds who are trying to get onto the first. There are players there who have just developed. A year or two ago, you wouldn't have thought. You wouldn't really had a second look at them, and now you're actually looking at them going because you're seeing they've learned so much over the last couple of years skills wise. Now we just have to kind of figure out how we play and kind of get away a little bit from system and more into figuring out how to win and what to play what's in front of you. And I think sometimes it happens. I coached in youth teams too. I remember coaching a team, and it'll be the same thing. You get involved and you have them all set up. You run this off that, and you run that off that, and all of a sudden, then your team are kind of they're gone flat, and you wonder what's wrong. And then you eventually have to say, look, you get a realization. You just say, just go out and play and enjoy the game. And I think that's what the lads did in the second half. And I think that's how we're going to have. If we want to beat Kildare, we have to have a strong belief in the quality players that we have. We need to keep our heads held high no matter what happens during the game. If you go down a couple of points, they need to just get back on just regroup, put their arm around each other and drive on from there. So look, seconds are out again. They're, as I say, they're chasing a tie. We're waiting on results. It's unfortunate for them because they've had a brilliant season. They just had one or two results that didn't quite go the way, or they didn't get a bonus point. So that all they can do is now just try and win the last two games, and it's in God's hands as far as whether they're going to win the league or not. But they just need to go out and play. Look, they're having a great season and some fantastic players down there. Dave Keppel, the captain, has done an absolutely outstanding job all season. Hats off to him, and the management crew that he has with them are just driven them on, and they're going to have their cup next week as well. So we have to wish them the best in that. So that's the end of the adult part of rugby. The kids, I think, all had reasons. So the 18s had a really, really solid win in Wicklow. They're through to the league. Well, hopefully they're through to the league semi-final. But there's some issue with, I think Longford gave walkovers, and I think it's an objection gone in over points or something. But anyway, it doesn't matter. Look, in their hindsight, they played really well, and they've got through. On paper, got through to the semi-final, so we'll have to just wait and see what outcome that has. The 14s had a good win, 13s had a good win. Can't remember the 15s, not too sure. 16s had a good win. Then we had the girls. Both Rhinos teams won. The under 14s had a brilliant win in Carlow against Navan on Sunday. By all means, they had a cracking game. So they're ticking away in the league, and all you have to do is watch them. They're having great fun there every night training. There's huge numbers up for them between Carlow and Tullow, just phenomenal. It's really taking on it's really just taking on something else, because it's the amount of girls that are joining, and even with the 16s Rhinos, another girl coming up and just joined. I know there's only a couple of games left in the season, but another girl came and joined on Thursday night. So 16s went up and had a brilliant win against Wicklow in Wicklow, which is always a tough place to win. And they're through now to the Leinster League semi-final. Just waiting on result of this weekend to see who they're playing. Other than that, we had a good weekend, a decent enough weekend all around, and there was a lot of sore heads, I'd say, on Monday morning, because the lads had a good outstation. There was huge buzz in the club, which is brilliant. We haven't had that in a while. I think because the bar was closed, but we were doing upper bar, which is the compliments to everybody. It's done absolutely stunning. It's as good as any bar around, and it was just closed before Christmas, and I think we kind of lost a bit of the buzz, because the lads, being out in the ballroom wasn't quite the same as being in the nice bar. Anyway,
different atmosphere.
It was a good weekend. Good weekend.
Yeah, heard good reports from Tullow as well. They had a squeaky bum sort of a game in the Towns Cup of the weekend. It was close enough, but I heard reports of big crowd out there and that as well. Same thing, Tom. Great old buzz. Good numbers, people out there just to they had the ladies match on beforehand as well. So
they had a huge night too. I think there was 12 o'clock. So I was talking to someone, was kind of late enough, and them getting out. And Pookie did it again. I said to Johnny the other night, I reckon that chap has rosary beads inside his boots, because
off the post, off the bar,
you
and
couldn't,
over.
you know. And he wasn't even doing the kick, and seemingly it was that young centre winger they have from the college was he. The lads I said he kicks bananas, like he'll kick and everyone thinks it goes wide and then it kind of comes back in, and that's the way he kicks. But it was the sixth kick, the last kick, literally last kick, and
Pinball.
Pokey came up and took the kick. He was told to kick it, I think. But I don't think it was a part of the game plan by the sounds of it. But again, like bouncing it off the post and then in, like that's Tullow when they're on the roll like that. I think they're playing good rugby.
Yeah, themselves and Gorey for me are my favourites for the cup. I said it to Johnny the other day, 50 quid on Tullow, but I wouldn't count Gorey out with either.
Yeah, I definitely. Well, if you're going on paper and on performance and go on form, but then again, like Gorey only got its way through Wexford. And I know Wexford ain't that bad, as in they've been playing quite well, and Morris has been helping out down there as well in his own home club a couple of nights. So I said a little bit of preparation was in for that, but like they stumbled on that one, so maybe they might learn a lesson.
But like you have 3 senior club J1's teams in the quarter-final, isn't it? Skerries, Enniscorthy, Tullamore and Naas. Is it 4? Or Skerries out? Is it 3 or 4?
Well, you've Naas, definitely 3. You've Naas, Enniscorthy and Tullamore.
Yeah, so you have 3. And then after that, it's nearly a South East League. You have Kilkenny, Carlow, Gorey, Tullow. You know.
Well, it is, and I think out of all the things I say, Enniscorthy are probably the ones that are going to struggle the most, because they're trying to. I think they're trying to keep field their seniors.
Yeah, they're actually.
I was saying they were struggling. No, I heard whether it was true or not that they were struggling. So, I'd say the J1s probably mightn't be as strong as they have been in other years. But
yeah, right.
I know that Tullamore will be. I know it's another week away, but or a couple of weeks away. But Tullamore won't be an easy pushover inside in Tullamore.
It can only take one game at a time. We all have a round of league to go, 2 rounds of league to go now before the cup, isn't it?
No, is it? Yeah, 2 rounds. Yeah, 2 rounds. Yeah.
You know, and if we can, we'll worry about the cup. For us, we're going to worry about the cup after that. You know, I mean, there's a big fish to fry tomorrow, so very big fish to fry.
I told the lads next year, I said we're going on our tour is going to be to Lourdes, because the amount of injuries had this year, something has to change.
Yeah.
So I have no. Yeah, they can all go steep in the holy bet somewhere, because I don't know what's gone wrong. I've actually never remembered a season that just so many different and mad injuries between knees, hands, broken hands, like two props down, broken hands. What was the knees, concussions? You name it.
We had it last year.
We had a full writing book of it. Yeah,
like we had it last year. We were, Jesus Christ, it was like an infirmary in Kilkenny for portions of the season last year. But
yeah,
I think one thing that it does is it opens your eyes that you actually have to build a huge amount of depth, and it really shows the importance of seconds. Like we see it, young Ned Devlin and Brian McDonald are stepping up to first now out of seconds, and they're not really out of their depth either. Like they're doing good jobs up there. And it's back to your point, Tom. The seconds are being competitive every week, so they're playing a good level of rugby. You know, even your guys, and the fact that they're playing a good level of rugby and winning every week means they're training hard every week. Means that when they're called upon for the firsts, they're ready to step up. You know.
Yeah, well, we've used. I wouldn't like to think how many players we've actually used over the season. Like we've had 5 starting front rows gone, or 7. Jeez. 7 front rows injured in one go. Like that's just unheard of. So look, if we didn't have, put it this way, if we didn't have the depth of players that we have, whether they're the best players in the world or not, it doesn't matter. Everybody's stepping up, which is brilliant. And as I said before, like there's lads there who are just, their skills have just got so much better over the last couple of years, and they really have amazed everyone. So, we just want to keep the club going, and kind of keep it buzzing, and it just means kind of you want as many people coming to watch games and enjoying the rugby, and the lads enjoying it, because you have to have the seriousness of the sport as well, and everything. You do have to win, and you are trying to win league. You have to try and win leagues too, but you also want to have lads enjoy the rugby, and you want the sideline to enjoy a bit of crack as well, and to be able to bring the club back. And
with the man on your sideline that makes all the noise there's no reason why you shouldn't have plenty of crack on the sideline. The man, Crossley's old fella, making all the noise on the sideline up there. Jesus, we can hear him at Kilkenny. We can hear him at Kilkenny when Carlow were playing.
I went over to the college game. Johnny's team, they hammered the guards, but in the middle of it all, the whole stand of the IT crowd, and they're all there. Come on, Carlow! So I think it's becoming contagious. Between the Leinster Juniors having it last, the Leinster Juniors had it last year. I think it was one of the running comments, one of the running things with them. So it's he's becoming famous.
He is becoming famous, in fairness to him now.
Keep it
there's
up,
days
Carlow.
now. There's days someone would love to go over, and if somebody doesn't know him or know what he does, like trying to go over and give him a box, it is famous. Like, it's class when you're here.
Absolutely.
He seems to select his times very appropriately as well. The day over in Tullow, and Tullow were giving you a bit of a beating there. I was up at him. He shouts out, "Come on, Carlow, do what the other team are doing."
Look, it's good fun. But that's unique characters like that. Definitely need characters like that.
Absolutely, that's what they're all built on.
Yeah.
And I think I need to, from our side, actually, speaking of sideline banter, I need to say well done to all of our supporters. For the first, they've come out in their droves the last few weeks, and last Sunday was no different. But we're driving an initiative in the club called "There's No Excuse for Abuse," and we were having a little bit of issue in the club there over the last while with just too much vocals from the sideline coming to referees, and we've gotten ourselves a bad name. And fair play, certain people in the club have put their hands up to kind of marshal the sidelines, and when people are stepping out of line, they're asked to either shut up or shape out, And last Sunday, I didn't hear one bit of anything coming from the sideline directed to Byrne, who I have to also say, Byrne did a brilliant job in the middle on Sunday. The more I see him, a lot of people might complain about him, but the more I see him in action, the better a referee he becomes for me, Brilliant referee.
Actually, I have to say, her name's gone out of my head. She's from Tullow. We had a lady referee, and she was outstanding, absolutely outstanding. Now, we were terrified of her, even I was terrified.
That's John's.
I was joking. She was brilliant. Really top class, have to say, 100%.
Good stuff.
Yeah, I'd say probably best referee we had all season.
There's just a lot to be said for it,
Yeah. Lads, I have to head because I have a young girl here texting me. When are you coming?
Well, best of luck the weekend.
I'm at a birthday party.
She's putting in the effort in the gym.
Take care. Have a good one, lads. Bye-bye.
See you, lads.
Lads, have a good one. Talk to everyone again next week.
All right.
Take it easy.
Bye.